Imagine this. You've just been in a car accident. You're injured. You're shaken up. You're facing mounting medical bills. The insurance company calls, offering a quick settlement. Seems like easy money until you realize it barely covers your expenses, let alone your pain and suffering. Don't fall victim to these tactics. In this video, I'll break down how to negotiate with insurance adjusters and get you the compensation you deserve. Hi, I'm Marc Lopez. Let's jump right in. The first part of negotiating with an insurance adjuster is proving to them that you didn't cause the accident, or at least you're not mostly at fault for causing the accident. Remember, in Indiana, you can be a little at fault. You can't be mostly at fault, and you can still recover. If you're mostly at fault, well, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to recover in a personal injury action. Same thing with slip and fall, same thing with dog bites. So you can't be mostly at fault. Now, how do we show an insurance adjuster that we're not mostly at fault? Well, if there's a car crash, I'm hoping you have a crash report from a police officer or some sort of law enforcement agency. Those are pretty cool because they list everyone involved, they list factors that resulted in the accident, and typically people are pretty convinced by the police officers because, well, people love police officers generally. And if they say, based on my training experience, I believe the other person caused the accident, that's usually enough. Now, if a police officer didn't come or there's a slip and fall and a dog bite, we're going to need witnesses, we're going to need photos, we're going to need anything we can get to help prove liability on the other party. And especially when there's car crash cases, if there's not a police officer police report, pictures are going to be so important. Or a car crash, we're looking for skid marks, we're looking for signage, we're looking for right-of-way. Was there a stop sign the other person blew and there's a straight right-of-way for the non-at-fault party? We're looking for anything like that. For slip and fall, we're looking for weird things going on with the elevation, ice, people not cleaning up. We're looking for all sorts of things like that. With dogs, what was the situation when the dog escaped? Was there pictures of the fence? Was there pictures of the door the dog broke through? Are there pictures of the leash? Are there pictures of the owner pulling the dog back because the dog's acting nuts? I love dogs, by the way, but train your dogs because it's not right to take away someone's love for animals because the animal attacked. So that's how we prove liability. And we have to show the insurance adjuster that you are not at fault, or at least not mostly at fault. Now, after we show the other parties at fault, we also have to get what's called damages. Now, damages can get a little bit complicated, but it's not rocket science. But the hardest part about damages is just trying to keep things organized. When a person goes to the ER, well, typically they go there by ambulance. So there's an ambulance record, they go to the ER, right? There's an ER record. No, there's an ER hospital record, there's an ER physician's record, and there's some sort of diagnostic record, typically for x-rays, blood work, stuff like that. Now, if they go to the primary care physician, because that's what a person should do if they've been in a car crash, at least do a telehealth, if not visit in person, there should be a primary care physician. Now, the primary care physician can't get you in for a few weeks. It's normal to go to urgent care. I was in a car crash. I'm still a little bit shook up. I'm a little bit sore. Can you guys help me out? So again, ambulance, ER physician, ER hospital, diagnostic, primary care physician / urgent care. And now the urgent care or primary care may send you to chiropractic, may send you to physical therapy. There are all sorts of different things. Those will refer you as well. MRIs, more diagnostic. There's all sorts of different things, and every record has a bill. You have to keep these things organized. Now, in addition to medical records and medical bills, we want to keep track of time off work, because regardless of the time you're taking off work, whether it's medical leave, whether it's vacation, you need to be compensated for that, especially if it's vacation time. Vacation time isn't to be dealing with car crash or slip and fall or dog bite. Doctor treatment is to keep you centered and healthy, mentally correct to do your job. So please don't discount lost wages and stuff like that. And that's super important. Keep track of these things. Keep track of mileage. Keep track of gasoline. Keep track of anything you think is related or could be related to the car crash, slip and fall, or dog bite, because it's all going to be part of the demand. That's what I call hard numbers. You want to give the insurance adjuster a demand. You're going to have the hard numbers, what's actually been paid out. And then you want to add on pain and suffering. Now, how do I figure out pain and suffering? That's a great question. Injury attorneys typically look at verdicts. We typically look at past results from jury trials, look at past results from adjusters, insurance companies, all sorts of things you can do here. But a rule of thumb, if somebody's off work, went to the doctor 1 or 2 times, that's going to be a lower pain and suffering amount than someone that's off work, going to the doctor numerous times over a course of time. Someone with a broken bone is likely going to have a higher pain and suffering than someone with bruising and soreness. That's just a fact. Now, it's not necessarily going to be correlate between, number of doctor visits and higher settlement, because sometimes broken toes, broken foot, there's not that many doctor visits. It's healed. It's not healed. Now, there might be physical therapy for a broken foot, but there may not be as many doctor visits as perhaps someone who has seriously messed up back. Not broken, but it's out of alignment. It's not feeling good. Whiplash. might be more quantity doctor visits than a broken foot, broken toe. It's hard. It's a lot of nuance in figuring out pain and suffering, but the pain and suffering award plus the hard medical bills, records, and wages, together, that makes it a man. Now, it can get a little complicated because with car crashes particularly, there's something called med pay that your own insurance likely paid some of these bills. In fact, medical providers love that med pay because they pay in full. Now, med pay has to get paid back. Same thing with health insurance. If your health insurance is paying for these doctor visits, their health insurance is going to have their hand out, hey, pay us back. I always think it's wild that the same insurance that you pay monthly for, as soon as they pay out on your behalf, if you get a settlement, they have their hand out immediately. Hey, pay us back. Ultimately, your health insurance, med pay need to be paid back from any settlement you obtain from the at-fault insurance company or the at-fault driver's insurance company. And most people take that as a big surprise because they weren't expecting that. You have to know those amounts. Otherwise, you are not going to be happy with the settlement you get. Now, there are some tips and tricks that the insurance company is going to do. In my mind, as soon as you start negotiating with the insurance company, they do one of these. Let the games begin. But the insurance company is going to do a bunch of different things. But here's some of the four most common. Number one, they're going to try to get you to accept some sort of fault. Now, they're going to try to do this because they're trained to do this. They are trained to talk to you in a way that you let your guard down and you just chat with them. Don't you agree that if you weren't going so fast, maybe this wouldn't have been as bad? Don't you agree that maybe you shouldn't have been going so fast because it was rainy? Don't you agree that look both ways when you cross the street? Don't you agree if you were going a little bit slower, none of this would have happened? Whatever. They're going to say all sorts of things. And it's human nature when you think of someone as your friend to give them agreement, even if it's half-hearted. Well, maybe if I hadn't been going the speed limit and I was going under the speed limit, this wouldn't have happened. Oh, so you admit you caused some, but they're trying to get you to take some responsibility for the accident because every percentage that they can argue you caused the accident, you get a diminished settlement. So just for example, if they say, hey, you know what, you're 30% at fault for this case is worth $10,000, 70% of 10,000 is 7,000 because 100 minus 30 is 70%. So we're only going to give you $7,000. I know it's more than you thought. Have a great one. No, they're going to try to do as much as possible to get you to accept fault. Don't fall for their tricks. They're also going to try to do a second big trick. They're going to, oh, that's not covered. Oh, man, you saw a doctor for your knee 10 years ago. We're not going to cover knee injury for this case. You had a bad knee to begin with. Hey, we're not going to cover therapy after 4 visits because most people are better after 4 visits. But they're going to make some arbitrary arguments like that. Oh, well, that's too much. Well, we're not going to cover this. We're not going to cover that. And then the third one they're going to do is continue to just set some sort of arbitrary amount on your case. Well, listen. Most we can pay for medical bills is $10,000. So if you go beyond that, man, you're on your own. Now, there might be a very low policy. Maybe that is the most they can pay. But Indiana insurance limits for minimum coverage is $25,000. Now, $25,000 is gone pretty quickly in today's day and age. But insurance companies shouldn't be setting arbitrary amounts on treatment or anything like that. If they are, it's your sign to talk to an attorney to figure out what's going on. Now, the fourth and most devious way is trying to get you to take a quick settlement. Hey, you know what? We know our guy caused the accident. We're going to give you $5,000 right now, and we'll pay for medical treatment. How's that sound? Just sign this piece of paper right here. Release. If you sign that release, the insurance company wins. They're doing that because they probably know their exposure is much, much bigger than the check they're writing for you. And they also know no attorney is going to help you out in a case if you've already signed a release. And that's just a matter of business because most attorneys for injury cases don't get paid up front. They get paid at the end of the case. And if a person's already signed off on a quick settlement, there's no money for the attorney to get paid. And I'm going to let you know right now, if you sign off on this quick settlement, the insurance company is going to fight you tooth and nail on paying for future medicals. Again, you hurt your back a few years ago, sir. You really want us to keep paying for back? Oh, man, you're going to the physical therapist like 7 times. Most people only need 3 or 4. We're done paying for this. I need a note from your primary care physician, plus former president notarized by a unicorn for us to keep paying for this treatment. They're going to do everything they can to try to get out of paying. And again, you're not going to have an attorney to help you because attorneys aren't going to jump in a case if you already signed a release. Now, one of the most heartbreaking calls I get all the time is, hey, Marc Lopez, there was an accident. I need your help. I was injured. Okay, let's talk. What's going on? Yeah, I know they're at fault because they've actually paid me already. It makes me, I'm like, what? What's going on? It's devastating when somebody has already taken the quick settlement because I can't help them at that point. Please, if insurance company is offering a quick settlement, that needs to make you raise your hand, call an attorney immediately because they're trying to get you done because they know this is a bigger case and trying to trick you to a small settlement. There are a few considerations you want to keep in mind when dealing with insurance companies. There's a 2-year statute of limitations in Indiana. Car crash, dog bites, any slip and falls, 2 years. If a government agency is involved or even a government government-esque agency or government-like agency, maybe even a county-funded hospital. You have to file a tort claim notice within 6 months, 180 days. If you don't file that tort claim notice, you will not be able to go to trial, can't go to court. It's bar. You need to file that tort claim notice. If you have any questions about that, call an attorney. Most important call of your life. Most attorneys will do a free consultation and help you figure out if tort claim notice needs to get filed. Another consideration, please don't wait to the last minute. If you're in an accident and you go to treatment and you're trying to settle your case, don't wait for the 2 years. If you're not getting anywhere within 2 or 3 weeks, call an attorney, figure out what's going on. A lot of attorneys hesitate getting involved in cases where someone's already started negotiating, but you might find one that doesn't, and we'll talk to you too, just kind of get an idea what's going on, give you some helpful hints and pointers, but don't let things linger. You don't want to do is wait until the absolute last minute. 2-year marks tomorrow. I need to get an attorney to file a lawsuit because I will never touch that case because too many areas for it to go wrong or go backwards. I don't want that in my life. I want less stress if I can control it. Mind stress though, especially if it's a good case, but actively seek out stress. So don't wait till the last minute. If you are at 1 year and you've been negotiating, you can't get nowhere, call an attorney. Now, when do you call a lawyer? Call a lawyer if you feel like the insurance company is not playing fair. Call a lawyer if you're just done dealing with this. This is too stressful. Remember, you have to try to get better. That's the only job as an injured person in Indiana. Mitigate your damages. Try to get better. If this is causing you too much stress, well, hand it off to a professional. This is what we do every day. Lawyers can help you get a faster settlement. Lawyers can help you get a fuller settlement. Lawyers can also help make sure there's no hidden traps. Know the lien amounts. Know the outstanding balances. We don't want any surprises because I don't like surprises like that. I want my clients to be happy. I don't want to call a year later, hey, I still have a balance. It's not what we want. Attorney can do a more full and bigger and better settlement. Make sure you get maximum dollar because we only get paid if you get paid. And I have financial incentive to do the biggest possible settlement for you. So in closing, here at this law firm, we understand that when people are injured, people are hurt, well, they often deal with a lot of frustration because they have a normal life to deal with and they've been thrown into an injury case. Allow the Marc Lopez Law Firm to turn that frustration into compensation. Give us a call today, 317-632-3642.